God. Oh my God. 6 months ago, we were promised Unreal Engine Update 4.21 to Post Scriptum, and it's finally arrived. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Controlled Pairs Gaming, where we're all about helping you find those epic creative moments in your favorite games, just like Post Scriptum. And about 6 months ago, all the way back in May of 2019, Offworld Interactive and Periscope Games promised that they would be bringing the Unreal Engine Update 4.21 to Post Scriptum. Well, sure enough, this weekend they delivered, with an open beta weekend that allowed Post Scriptum players to get their hands on the new update for the very first time. As a longtime fan of the series, naturally I took advantage of the opportunity and managed to play 3 different games. And I wanted to take this chance to give you guys my opinion on the update and let you know about the overall state of the game. First of all, some of the features that come with the new update that are outside of just the optimizations that were promised is an Arnhem range revamp. So now you can go into the range, it has more features, more weapons, it's prettier, and it's much more usable than it was previously, and it still just accomplishes the main objective of giving you a place to practice and try out all the different weapons in the game. We also have some new animations, so some of the reloads look a little bit different, the way people move around look a little bit different, the bandaging animation looks a little bit different, and it's all just kind of quality of life and immersion improvements. In a previous update, we also got a sound revamp. So the Post Scriptum historically has probably the best sound design of any World War II shooter, probably any tactical shooter currently on the market. I don't know that that's ever been really disputed, but this new sound design gives you more variety, specifically with projectiles and 3D sound. So when you have a high velocity tank round going by you, you actually hear it kind of whiz past your head and change over time, and it sounds different based off of the caliber of round that's moving and where it is in 3 dimensions compared to where you're standing. Holy Christ. So that just adds more immersion, and it makes for an overall better experience. They also added a little death cam, so for like a few seconds after you're killed, it looks like you can still see. So your screen goes a little bit dark, but you're still able to kind of observe your orientation in the world, which makes for some kind of really dark and grim moments, especially if you meet your demise in a pretty nasty way, like taking a direct hit from a mortar or something like that. We also have been teased Chapter 2 again. So Post Scriptum Chapter 1, the Bloody Seventh, introduced Operation Market Garden and operations in Holland, and that's kind of where we've been playing for the last couple of years since Post Scriptum was initially released. So we've been playing as the Germans, as the Brits, and as the Americans in the 82nd Airborne. And so Chapter 2 isn't a new game, but it is a new feature, and they promised to introduce a new theater. There was, a couple minute or a 30-second clip that got released. I'm not going to dive all the way into it. I will link on screen to a video that I thought did a pretty good job of performing some analysis on Chapter 2. I'm not super hyped on Chapter 2 right now, but I will say that the fact that the developers are committed to releasing more content does bode well for the overall status of the game, and at least makes me think that they have faith in the project, and I don't see Post Scriptum going anywhere anytime soon. So let's talk about the overall state of the game and what I thought of the 4.21 update over the beta weekend. First, it's a beta, so I'm not going to overly criticize it. And second, the biggest complaint people had about Post Scriptum so far, I say had past tense, but certainly the biggest complaint, and really it's twofold. It's optimization and its population of the community, its health of the community. And the reason that the community, in my opinion, dwindles and there's only 3 or 4 populated servers at a time is because it takes a pretty beefy rig to run the game at 60 frames, which most PC gamers consider to be the bare minimum for a great first-person shooter experience. So with that in mind, the optimization delivered in 4.21, if it delivers a true 60 frames per second on a middle-of-the-road rig, does bode well for the overall health of the community, because no one denies that Post Scriptum's a great game. It is. It's fun. If you have the rig to play it, you want to play it. It's a great game in that regard. The problem has always been that barrier to entry. That is, do you have the technology able to play the game? So if you look at the stats, I mentioned them in the video I published with the Grave update when they first announced 4.21 6 months ago back in May. We talked a little bit about concurrent players, and back then I think we were seeing peaks nearing about 1,000 players and we were seeing concurrent players somewhere around 200. Frankly, since then they've continued to trail off, and that's relatively unsurprising. And we haven't really got to see what 4.21 is going to do to those concurrent player stats. I have a feeling that once it goes from beta into the main servers, we're going to see a pretty good bump. Obviously, that's going to trail off over time, but I am optimistic that 4.21 has successfully optimized the game to a point where we will see more folks stick around for the duration. And we've also got Hell Let Loose, which is being developed simultaneously. So Hell Let Loose runs a little bit smoother on most rigs, but the experience it delivers isn't the same as the Post Scriptum experience. It's more of an arcade experience. It's less team-oriented. So for those guys who are playing Hell Let Loose solely because of that barrier to entry being the technology and the lack of available servers, I am optimistic that some of those guys are going to start to migrate back towards Post Scriptum, or at least engage in both of the games and play both of them, basically like I do right now. And finally, I would say that Post Scriptum is being published by Offworld Interactive and developed by Periscope Games. So the fact that Offworld is publishing the game makes me fully confident that is going to be around for the duration. They've already teased us with Chapter 2. They have hinted at Chapter 3. And with those things in mind, I'm very confident that Post Scriptum is going to be around for some time. Overall, 4.21 is beautiful. The game looks great. The colors pop more vividly, the animations, the sound, everything leads to an even more immersive experience, and I am fully satisfied with the way it plays. It's hard for me to evaluate whether or not it successfully optimized the game, only because my rig was successfully running the game before it came out. So I have not seen tremendous increases, only because I was already enjoying the game in its previous state. I will say that it looks better. It looks significantly better, and I'm absolutely excited to see that, and I think it makes it look like a more modern shooter. And a lot of the times, at a surface value at least, when you looked at Hell Let Loose and Post Scriptum side by side, people trended towards Hell Let Loose solely because the graphics in that game appeared to be superior to Post Scriptum, and I don't know that is the case anymore. I hope that you've gotten something out of this information. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And on screen right now is a video that shows you exactly what I anticipated this update to be from 6 months ago. So if you want to compare what I predicted to where we're at now, go ahead and take a look at that. And you can expect more from update 4.21 right here at Controlled Pairs Gaming. Thanks for checking it out, and I'll see you in the next video.